Hello. In this section we're going to create and edit some web pages. First, we need to download the supporting files from the URL that is given in point 18. We need to open our web browser. I'm using Firefox, and type in the URL hothousedesign.co.uk/2007_November, and that takes us to this page from where we can download each file. To download the file, you right-click or command-click on the file name, save link as, and we need to save the file somewhere suitable that we can access them easily. So I'm going to create a folder on the desktop. So click on Desktop, New Folder, and give the folder a name, and then click Save. And you need to repeat this process for each of the files. Now that we have the files downloaded, we need to start preparing the web pages. A suitable software package that we're going to use is Kompozer. That's Kompozer. And when we run Kompozer, it looks like this. The first thing we need to do is prepare our style sheet. To do this in Kompozer, we click on the CSS button, Cascading Style Sheet Editor, up here. First, it will ask us to give a title to our page. So looking ahead, we can see that our first page is going to be called homepage.htm. And we're going to save this somewhere suitable again. So let's save it in the same file on our desktop. Now, once we've saved the file, a box comes up that lets us define our styles. First, we need to define a style for H1, that's heading 1. In order to do this, we leave this first option selected, a style applied to all elements of a certain type, and in the drop-down box we select H1 heading 1, and then click on Create Style Rule. Now, the options we're going to be selecting are all to do with the appearance of the text, so we click on the Text tab here. And first, the font needs to be black, so you can click on the color selector here. It's black, just click on black, click OK. A serif font, click on Font Family Predefined, and select a serif font family. 36 point. In the font size box we can type in 36 PT, where PT stands for point. And finally the alignment needs to be center aligned. So that's H1 defined. Now we don't click on OK here because we want to keep the CSS box open to define more styles. So what we need to do is click on the little palette icon up here at the top left. And then we can define a second style rule. Now for H2, so again in this drop down box select H2, create style rule, and it's a very similar procedure. Color is black, say serif font again, this time it's 18 point, 18 PT, center aligned. And the third one, H3, this time is red, and a sans serif font, 12 point, so 12 PT, center aligned, and the font weight here needs to be bold. Fourth style, H4. Red. Sans serif. 12 points, 12 pt, left aligned. Now the fifth style, li, that's the list style, is not a predefined element here. So we need here to create a custom style rule. So select this option, type in li, and click create style rule. And then it's the same as before. Select the font color, font family, the font size, where it says bullet points, we can click on the lists tab and we can select what kind of bullet point we want. Let's have a disk bullet point, and the alignment should be left aligned. And the final style we need to define is that for p paragraph, should be dark red, sans serif, 10 pt, left aligned. Now we have defined all of the required styles. Currently this is defined as an internal style sheet, that is, it's part of our HTML document. But what we need to do is save this as an external style sheet, as a separate file that we're going to attach to each web page that we create. So in order to do this, click on Internal Style Sheet, and we can see here we have an option to export the style sheet to it as an external file. So click on this option, and we need to give our style sheet a sensible name. Let's call it no7.css. And we can see here now we've linked the web page we're creating to no7.css. Now we need to print a copy of this style sheet, making sure our name, centre number and candidate number are printed on the page. So let's first open Finder, and here we can see no7.css. This is the file we have created. Now if we right click on this, we can open it with text edit, and opening it in text edit we can view this is the CSS file as we have defined all of the styles. In order to print this, what we can do is copy, so Command A to select all, Command C to copy, and we can paste it into Word. And in Word we can edit the header with our name, candidate number and school number. And we can add all of our evidence into this file to be printed, and it will always appear with our candidate name, number and centre number on it. We can close text edit and back to Kompozer. Now we need to create the page, homepage.html. We've already created the file, but we're going to need to add some content. And remembering all the time, the layout of the page should look like this. The external style sheet is already attached, and using Kompozer, this problem, styles being overridden by the package, is not going to happen. Now, content. In the top left hand corner we need to add some text. And the style of this should be H4, so we can select that text, and in the box here, select heading 4. And we can see that the CSS has worked because our heading 4 style was defined as red sans serif 12-point left aligned. Next we need a heading, peripherals, and consumables. And again we can select this line and set it to heading 1 style. Now below the heading we need to create a table with 4 rows and 2 columns. So click on the table button, and we need 4 rows and 2 columns. So 4 down, 2 across. Now we need to merge certain cells in this table. So the top 2 cells, if we select them, then right click, then scroll down in the options, we can join selected cells. Similarly, the 2 cells in the middle on the right, join selected cells, and 2 cells in the bottom row need joining or merging. So now the table looks as required. Select the table, right click, we can choose table cell properties, but we don't want to edit the cell properties, we want to edit the properties of the whole table, so click on the table tab. And we can edit the padding to 10 pixels, the cell spacing to 2, it already is, and the width of the table should be 100% of the window, that's fine. Its border should be 2 pixels. That's okay, I can see the style of our table has changed slightly. Now we need to add the contents of a certain file into the table. So let's go back to Finder. The file we want is n7page.txt. That's the file. If we double click, it opens in text edit. Now the text beginning, we stock a wide range and it goes into cell A. So to select this, I can double click and move the cursor down 1 line. Command C to copy. Cell A is the top cell. Click in the top cell and Command V pastes. And I can delete this extra line I've inserted. And then select this text, and it needs to be formatted heading 2. Next, go back to text edit, and the list peripherals include down to blank CDs and DVDs needs copying, Command C, and pasting, Command V, into cell B. Different lines here need formatting with different style. So peripherals include paragraph, and now the next 3 lines are list. There is no list style in the box here, but we can ensure these are displayed as a list by clicking on one of the list buttons here. And we can see it doesn't actually matter if we click the numbered list or the unordered list. They're both displayed in the same way because we've defined the list style, and that overrides the default styles. And consumables like is paragraph, and then the following 3 lines again are LI list style. And we have several blank lines here that we need to get rid of. Next, the text "you can contact us" in many ways needs copying, Command C, and pasting into cell C. And formatting. That's heading 3. And the text through our website is copying and pasting into cell E. Cell E is the last cell in the table, at the bottom of the table. And this should be heading 4. And that should be style heading 4 as is. Now we need to import an image into cell D. Cell D is this one on the right here. So click in that cell, click on Image, and we can use the browser to find the image. We saved it on the desktop in this folder, n7cart.jpg. Open. We need to set the height of the image to 200 pixels. So click on the Dimensions tab, Custom Size, 200 pixels. And we can see it's automatically adjusted the height in order to maintain the aspect ratio. Click OK. And we can choose don't use alternate text because that's not required in the instructions. And there's the picture. Now below the existing table, we can click below the table, we need to insert the contents of this file as a new table. So back to Finder, n7menu.htm. Now I'm going to right click and open this with text edit. Copy this text back to Kompozer. We can see that this table needs to be 1 row and 4 columns. So insert a new table, 1 row, 4 columns. Paste all of the text here and just copy and move the text along the table. We have some extra lines here we can delete. Then finally, all of these cells need formatting with style heading 2. Table properties, if we right click, table cell properties, go to the table tab. The cell padding needs to be 10 pixels, cell spacing 2, table width needs setting to 600 pixels, border is 2 pixels. Click on OK, and we can see how that's changed the style of the table. Next we need to create a hyperlink for the menu item special offers. So select the text special offers, click on link, and this is linking to the file n7offers.htm, and this should be opened in a new window. So click on Target, link is to be opened in a new window, and the new window needs to have a name. So in order to do this, we actually need to click in this frame, and then we type the name of the frame of the window it's going to be opened in. Okay. Finally, we need to save this page. Click Save, and print the page as it is viewed in the browser. So then, go to Finder. The page we've created is this one, homepage.htm. By double-clicking on this, it opens in Firefox, my browser, and we can see how it looks. It looks correct. File, print, and we can print a copy. Let's just see what it looks like in preview. That looks fine. It has our candidate name and number at the top. And to print a copy of the HTML source, we can also do that from our browser. We right click on the page, view page source, file, print, and here's a copy of the source. Next we need to open an image file, a JPEG file, and change its size. Now there are several applications we could use to edit an image. Probably the easiest just to change the size is Preview. So if we go back to Finder, n7icon.jpg, open with Preview. And in Preview I can click on the Tools menu, click Adjust Size, and we want to adjust the size to 40 pixels wide by 42 pixels high. And we need to deselect Scale Proportionally so that it will allow us to change the width without changing its height. Click OK. We can see the image has been made smaller. Then we need to save the image as a GIF, GIF file. File save as, change the format to GIF, save it as n7icon.gif. And we need to check that the color depth is 256 colors or 8-bit color. If we click on Tools, Show Inspector, we can see here the color depth is 8-bit as required. So we can close this picture, and then we need to open the file n7offers.htm in order to edit it. So we'll be editing this in Kompozer. Kompozer, File, Open File, and we want to open n7offers.htm. Now, we need to import the image n7media.jpg into the right cell of the table. There's only one table, so that means here, to import the image, click on the Image button, click the folder to open the browser, and the image we want is n7media. Open. The dimensions of this should be 300 pixels wide, and the aspect ratio is maintained. That's fine. So in order to save this without alternate text, we need to click on Don't Use Alternate Text. The text candidate name at the top of the page needs replacing. And we also need to add our candidate number and centre number. At the bottom of the page, click here. Needs replacing with an image. So delete the text, click on image, insert the image we've just created, n7icon.gif. Don't use alternate text. And this image has a link. So click on the link tab. This is going to link to homepage.htm. Okay. Next we need to attach the external style sheets that we saved in step 19. So click on the CSS button. And this time we want to connect to the external style sheet. So click on the arrow next to the palette icon and click on Link to Style Sheet. Choose the file, choose our created CSS file, no7.css. Create style sheets. And click on OK. Now we can see how the formatting has been changed to our defined style sheet. We save this page, n7offers.htm. And print the page as it is viewed in your browser. So open the page by double clicking, opening it in Firefox. Here's how it looks. So again we print the page and right click on the page, view page source, and we can print the HTML source. And that's the end of this section.